Hello, my name is Cheryl Clarke. I'm the Superintendent of the Monson Public Schools, and I'd like to welcome you to Clarke's Corner. Clarke's Corner is a program that is shown here on M-PACT, highlighting all of the great things that are happening in the Monson Public Schools. And this month is no exception. We will be highlighting Monson High School. My first guests will be students from Monson High talking about the work-based learning program, and then Mr. Metzger, principal of Monson High, and I will be chatting about all of the new programs and initiatives that are in place and will be coming soon. So I would ask my guests first to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Mikayla Rouette, and I'm a senior at Monson High School.
Hi, I'm Angela Johnson, and I'm a senior at Monson High School.
Hi, I'm Oliver Johnson. I'm also a senior at Monson High School.
Well, thank you all for being here. And you are here to talk about work-based learning. You're all involved in a work-based learning placement, is that correct?
Indeed.
Yes. Okay. So, well, Mikayla, can you tell me, just kind of give me an overview of what work-based learning is for those of people out there who may not know?
Well, work-based is basically an opportunity for students to go out and experience a job. It's for juniors and seniors only, and you get class credits for it.
And do you have to apply? Is there a criteria?
It actually starts in sophomore year, the application process. You create a resume.
Oh, okay.
And you go through programs where you learn your interests, your skills, and based on that, you do a project, and then from there, you can apply to do a work-based position.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And Angela, there's job shadowing, right? And then placement. Does the shadowing come before the placement? How does that work?
You can do both. You can do job shadowing before the placement and while you're in the placement. So I did job shadowing before the placement as a sophomore with Stephen Bradley Architects in Enfield.
Oh, wow.
And then I ended up going back during my placement and job shadowing with them again as I was still in my placement.
So this is your third year working with them? Or?
Yeah, you could say that.
And do you want to be an architect?
I do, yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous. Great. And did either of you also shadow? Oliver, did you do shadowing
Prior to this?
Yes.
Yes, I did. During the summer, I did.
And where are you placed?
Where was I placed?
Yes.
I went to Mary Lane in Ware and also Wilbraham Medical Center.
So in the health field?
In the health field, yes.
And Mikayla, you're in the health field as well?
Yes.
Where's your placement?
I'm at Bay State Medical Center in Weston Women's.
Oh, okay, great. With the babies.
With the babies.
And I heard you were involved in delivering?
I was.
How many babies?
I think I did 4 deliveries.
Wow.
Yes.
That's awesome. Who would ever have think you'd have that experience in high school?
I know.
That's great. So you're in the placement for a semester. How does that work? Anybody want to talk about that?
I'll talk about it. So you do your placement for an entire semester, but you can do another semester of work-based and switch your position, which is what I'm doing. I do this semester at Bay State and next semester at Wing. So.
Okay. All right. So it's a full year.
You can do it as a full year.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and job shadowing is not as intense. Is that correct? Or Oliver, what do you think?
Well, I was basically stuck with shadowing for all wherever I went because I'm not allowed to interact with patients.
Oh, right. You can't
like the
perform
doctor.
surgery or anything.
No.
Oh, okay. So it's a work-based placement, but you're shadowing.
Yes, I'm shadowing.
Okay. And Angela, how about you?
My work base was actually after school, so I did 4 classes and then went after school to my placement. And the placement was more in-depth and everyday tasks, whereas the job shadow, you're really just observing for like a day or 2. It's not as extensive as your placement is.
I see.
So that was my experience with the job shadow.
So when school's over, you drive to your placement.
Yep.
And so can you just kind of walk us through what you might do?
So school ends and you have to get all dressed up for business casual. And my work base was at 170 Tapley Street in Springfield.
Oh, wow.
So I would drive out to Springfield. It was about a half an hour. And I would go in and it changed every day. So either I was on site somewhere at the hospital where they were moving different patients, different practices into a new building or a new
so you
section.
were involved in the new building of the hospital?
There was the construction side where I could go into like the actual construction part where they were.
So they designed that?
The hospital, the future, everything. Yeah, they're the facilities and planning for Bay State Medical Center. So they handle all of the construction and architecture all over Bay State. So moving practices, I would go and observe how the whole move was done. I would scan documents. I did work orders. I put together carpet schemes and paint schemes for the interior designers, and shelved their library. So,
and now when you're an architect, is it all done on the computer now? Is there actual drawing anymore?
No, there is.
There is?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's actual drawing.
Because I know you're very artistic, so that must come into play somewhere.
Yeah, at my job shadow I did over Christmas vacation, I sat down with the principal at Stephen Bradley Architects, and he was just problem solving on wax paper, just drawing and going over different things. So it was fun to see his brain work and how it different concepts that just kept flowing out. It was really interesting.
So you plan to go on to major in that in college? Is that, what do you major in if you want to become an architect?
You get your master's in architecture.
Ah, okay. Well, that's great. Thank you. And Oliver, what about you? Tell us about your placement and what you do. And do you do it during the school day, or do you go after school?
During the school day.
Okay.
Yeah, so since I did it every week, or every single weekday, I did an hour and a half.
Okay.
Or basically. So it was from 1 to 2:30. So, and also I had an online course, so after my second block, I was able to go right home.
Oh, nice.
So I was basically done with the school environment for the day.
So that's it's almost like a college experience. You go home halfway through the day, you take an online course, and then you go to your placement.
Yep.
And so what are some things that you did, or you would do in your placement? Yeah.
Well, I would go in, I'd meet up with Dr. Wexler. He might be in his office. I might wait for him if he's seeing a patient, and I would observe what he did. And this is
Dr. Wexler?
Dr. Wexler. This was Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
And what kind of a doctor is he?
Ears, nose, and throat.
Ear, nose, and throat, okay.
Clean ears, and people with ear infections, he'd help them. People with breathing problems, he'd also help that.
Sure, that's your whole...
throat, yeah. Your head.
We need all of those things, yes.
I also had a placement with a physician assistant in surgery. Ah. So that was a lot of people who got hurt or had some problems with them and needed surgery to fix that.
So was it an ER? You weren't in the ER?
No, it wasn't an ER.
Okay, so they would make an appointment and come in and need
did meet before they need stitching. If they had an operation, they'd be checked up afterwards and before. And
you are okay with the sight of blood, and you like that kind of thing?
Well, I didn't really see much blood,
but you'd be okay with that?
Yes,
I mean, when they're stitching, you're...
I didn't really see much
no stitching?
Okay. They use steri strips a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that like...
It's like a little thing they put on. It's kind of like a glue. Like
crazy glue?
No. Well, it's like kind of a tape strip, kind of.
Oh, okay.
For medical.
And it holds it?
It holds it shut.
So are stitches kind of a thing of the past? They know they do staples, right?
I'm not quite sure.
Not quite sure. So you worked with two different roles.
Yes.
And so do you want to go on into the medical field as well? Or?
I do. I still want to become a physician assistant, which is why I did this shadowing experience.
Ah, okay.
This work-based learning, yeah.
And in what field, do you know yet?
No, I don't know. That's
why you're doing this, so you can get more experience. So this will continue all until the end, until you graduate this placement, or?
No, just this semester.
Oh, wait, we're almost done with this semester? And
yes.
Is there anything for next semester for you?
Work-based wise?
Yes.
No.
Okay, so you're done with your work-based.
Done, yeah.
Great. Okay. And speaking of the health field, Mikayla, tell us about your experience.
So I was in the labor and delivery, and basically I gave babies their first baths. I sat in on deliveries. I got to feed them in the nursery, hold them when the parents needed time, and just dropped them off in the nursery. So I had a lot of fun just playing with the babies, honestly.
Sure. How many babies are in the nursery at any one time?
I think the most that I saw at one point was 6 or 7.
Oh, is that
so? Yeah, because there's I think 3 different floors at Bay State, and I was on floor 1, and I think the most was 7. Because a lot of the parents keep them in the room for at least during the day. Nighttime's different.
That's true. And so that's been your placement right along in that ward, in that section of the hospital?
Yep.
Okay, and is that what you want to? You want to be a doctor, a nurse?
I want to be a nurse.
In the maternity?
I'm not sure yet. I'm going to get my bachelor's degree and then decide what I want to do. So.
What specialty?
Yeah.
So have you all been accepted to colleges already?
Yeah, man.
That's all you don't know yet. Okay. And have you chosen where you would like to go?
I think I'm going to attend Fitchburg State.
Oh, and you're going on an overnight soon
Yes.
to see how it is? Yes. And how about you, Angela? Do you know yet?
I'm not sure where I want to go yet. I was accepted to Wentworth just last week, so that was exciting.
That's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Alvar, I'm sure you'll be hearing soon?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What's your first choice?
Probably Springfield College.
Oh, that's a great school. So this experience, has that affected your decisions about what you want to do or where you want to go or what you want to be after high school? Has it changed? Have you changed based on these experiences, or confirmed what you want to do?
I think for me, it definitely is. Different parts of nursing are challenging. And maternity, I love. Next semester, I'm in the emergency room, and I'm not sure if I'll like that as much.
Oh, right.
But I know there's a lot of different sides of work-based. Some people love their position, some people hate it. So I loved my position and
that's great.
Benefiting from that.
Great. And how about you, Angela?
It really showed me all the sides of architecture and the different components, not just architecture. I worked a lot with the interior designers when I was in my placement. And I thought that interior designing would be something that, I would go into maybe as a possibility. And I realized it's not at all what I want to do. It's different. And I realized that as much as I love art, I really want to go more towards the technical side of architecture rather than the design side, just from being in that environment and seeing it on a daily basis, which is something.
Problem solving and all of that.
Yeah, which I never would have, on paper, art to me looks better, but without the experience, I never would have figured out that I want to go more towards the engineering side.
That's great. That's great. And how about you, Oliver?
Well, before the practicum, I wanted to become a PA, and it didn't really change my view.
Confirmed.
Or it confirmed it, yes. But I was exposed to more of the health field, and it was a good experience. So it probably will help me with, when I become PA, what section I actually go into.
So those are obviously some of the benefits. Are there other benefits of this program of work-based learning?
Well, I know people who don't like their positions, and that's definitely a benefiting point of the work-based because it teaches people before they go into college and I want this program, this is what I want, they get to experience it.
So they realize it's not that they don't like the placement necessarily, but they realize, oh, this isn't for me.
This isn't for me.
Oh,
and that's the benefit of work-based is you get to experience
so it's like a reverse benefit almost,
before you spend the money in college and then realize that you don't want to do it.
Good point. How about you? Anybody else?
Networking was a huge thing for me.
Right.
My supervisor, Roger Williams, was one of my top schools. It still is. But my supervisor went to Roger Williams and is friends with the Dean of Architecture.
Well, that's a great connection.
It was awesome. And he sent in a letter of recommendation for me and vouched for me. And, that would have never happened had I not done work-based. And talking to all these different people, really, it gets your name out there. And as much as it is what you know, it's also who you know.
It's true. So. It's very true. So great connections. Anything else, Oliver?
Well, the work-based definitely teaches you the intangibles, something that school doesn't, like communication skills.
Right.
And being able to present yourself well in front of people that you don't normally see.
That's true. So I wonder if people watching actually knew that there was such a program. I mean, it's amazing that you're out there delivering babies and shadowing doctors and involved in design of hospitals. Very proud of all of you. I can't wait to see where you land. I'm sure you'll be very, very successful. Well, thank you very much for joining me. It was really great to chat with you. Thank you. So next up, we will have Mr. Metzger, principal of Monson High, to join me to talk about some programs and initiatives. Joining me now is Bill Metzger, principal of Monson High. Hello, Mr. Metzger.
Hi, Mrs. Clarke. How are you?
Thank you for joining me. I'm doing very well. And you are new to Monson High this year.
I am. It's hard to believe almost half a year's gone by already.
I know. And there have been some changes, obviously, since you've come on board.
Yep.
You've done some things, and there were some things in place before you got there. So one of the biggies is new electives. So can you tell us about some of the new electives?
Sure, we've got a lot going on. I was fortunate when the school year was beginning that we had some programming in place for the current academic year. We brought back manufacturing technology, and our students have been working on a number of different projects there. It is mostly wood-based. They've built a doghouse, they've built Adirondack chairs, toolboxes. They're using the lathe, building baseball bats for the spring.
Really?
Yep.
Oh.
They made Christmas decorations, holiday decorations
I saw those, yes.
for their folks. It's great to have the shop back up and running.
Now, wasn't it a mess when you came on board?
It was.
It was like a storage facility, right?
It was, and our new teacher, new to us,
Right.
Mr. Kilbasa, did a great job before the students arrived in late August. The kids themselves were so excited to have the opportunity that they also did a tremendous amount of work getting the shop up and operational for the
That's
for the
nice.
school year.
So there's some ownership. Great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What else?
Mr. Kilbasa also is going to have some technical drawing, I would call it drafting classes running this spring. We had Angela up here just talking about her interest in architecture. The appeal for that class would be for either students architecturally minded or looking to get into any number of different contracting fields, being able to draw up plans, read schematics, etc., learning to draw to scale.
Wow. Now, that hasn't been in place at Monson High for a long time.
My understanding is quite some time.
Right. Since I've been in district, 10 years, I have not heard that it happened over there. So this is great. And again, this is great information for folks out there watching that are looking at high schools for their students, perhaps, that they don't realize just what Monson High has to offer.
Yeah, we're working really hard to strike a great balance between college prep and technical skills that I don't think you'll be able to find anywhere else once we get everything up and running that we have planned.
Great. Okay, and what other electives do we have now?
We've got an early child development class, which has been a great partnership with Quarry Hill Community School. Our students are at the high school in classes a few days a week, learning about child growth, human development, child and adolescent psychology. Then a few days a week they have the opportunity to go down and work with our preschoolers at Quarry Hill.
Yeah, that's nice.
And really get the hands-on experience. It's one thing to read about a topic like child development in a textbook and learn about it and take the traditional tests, quizzes, etc. But to be able to have the hands-on experience of going down, applying what you're learning in the classroom, getting not only the information from your instructors at the high school, but being able to have dialogues also with the preschool teachers that are working with the kids at the age and developmental level every day. I know our high schoolers enjoy it tremendously. To them, they're learning so much, and a lot of the times, I think they don't even realize that they're having such a good time with the little kids. So that's been a tremendous program that's new to the high school. We've also brought back again, after a long absence, a culinary arts program. We have a great culinary arts room on the first floor of the high school that really was underutilized for almost a decade. And we're happy to have that program back. There's been a ton of interest in it. Currently, we can only really, based on availability, offer it to seniors, but it's something certainly that you and I have talked about potentially expanding in the future.
Yes, yes. That's wonderful. And academics, is there anything you'd like to highlight there? There are changes or things people may not necessarily know that is occurring over at Monson High?
Well, I think the students you had on earlier did a great job of explaining the work-based learning program. That's a tremendous opportunity as we focus really on career and college readiness in the 21st century to go out, get hands-on experience, either decide that, hey, this is a field that I'm really interested in, or decide, great experience, I've gotten a taste of the workforce, but this is not for me. They also go through the resume writing process. We have several volunteers from businesses, both in Monson and the surrounding communities, come in and do interview workshops with the kids. We're looking to expand our career and college readiness program, not only down into our 9th grade, but into the 8th grade at Quarry Hill as well.
Right.
Or Granite Valley, excuse me.
And Quarry Hill.
And Quarry
We're looking at Quarry Hill too, yes.
I'm also so proud, and getting to know these kids. They're such great kids at Monson High School. We had a record number of students in this year's senior class qualify for the John and Abigail Adams Merit Scholarship.
Yes. That's free tuition?
That's free tuition at any state college or university. And for those people that are not familiar with the scholarship, it is awarded to top performers in the MCAS. And the kids are measured not only against their peers at Monson High School, but against high school students in the same grade across the state. So to have a record number this year really kind of speaks to the caliber of student that we're
that's
we're putting out.
exciting.
Yeah.
And there's students can also take courses online, right?
Yes,
At Monson High?
we've had a robust online program for several years now, and that's something we are always working with the vendors and the teaching professionals to continue to improve upon. We're always looking at ways that we can enhance the experience for the students and to continue to offer more opportunities for different types of courses.
So what are some of the courses that kids have taken that they wouldn't have been able to take otherwise?
Sure. We've got several kids in video game design
wow.
right now, which I think is not only pretty cool because it's a great interest to them naturally, but it is a growing field. There's a company in downtown Springfield that just opened, some local guys. I think it's a growing field in the 21st century, and to be able to get a taste of that in high school, I think is tremendous. Students have the opportunity to take a number of different languages. We are a small high school, so we can't offer too many foreign languages, but with the online program, they're able to take, Arabic, Japanese, German, Latin, so they can really drill down on different interests. We've got Java programming.
Oh, wow.
Yep, and a lot of courses that really do focus on the skills that are sought after by employers.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're trying to get kids ready for jobs that we don't even know what they are yet, how in terms of technology.
Yeah, there have been a number of studies conducted that suggest that our kids in high school right now are going to be applying for jobs that don't necessarily exist or exist in their current form at the moment. So it is a evolving field.
It is.
And we're trying to keep up.
That's right. And if I'm so we talked about students who might be looking at more of a technical or vocational piece. What about kids who are looking to take some AP courses or honors courses? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. We have a number of honors and AP courses offered at the high school. Next year, we're going to actually do something a little different that a number of districts that have a similar schedule have begun to do. We're going to run U.S. history as a 10-credit, 2-semester course at the high school. We also, I'm very excited to say, are in the beginning of discussions, but I think we will have some programming in place for the fall with at least one community college, Holyoke Community, some articulation agreements where students at Monson High School taking our courses, will be in the traditional high school setting, but our syllabi have been, vetted and approved by the college professors, and our high school teachers and the college professors will be communicating on best practices and the skills that they think the students should have. Wow. So not only do you earn credits towards your graduation from high school, but if you go on to Holyoke Community, you have those credits already for the program that you've entered into. Wow. And taking it even a step further, as some folks may know at home, the community colleges have agreements in place already with all the state colleges and universities, where if a student after completing their associates goes on to a 4-year program, that the credits all transfer into the bachelor's degree program. And that would be the case even with the courses that they're taking at Monson High. So I think that's very exciting.
That is really, the money savings, the cost savings there, and to take, they could conceivably come out with, several courses towards their degree at Holyoke. Correct?
Yep.
And there's also dual enrollment with Holyoke as well, where they actually go to the college.
Right, physically go during the day.
Right.
We are looking more and more, I think, again, this is what's happening in the 21st century with, kind of non-traditional approaches for some students completing their high school education. And we have some kids that really are focused on what it is they want to do. And we want to provide them every opportunity to have as much experience as possible.
So we've had students that graduate from Monson High where they've also graduated from Holyoke Community,
Right.
right? So they've got their associate's degree already.
Yes.
And they graduate from Monson
At
High.
18 years old, you're a college graduate with a Massachusetts high school diploma and an associate's degree.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone knows that. That's really great. So what about other activities? What else is happening at Monson High? Extracurricular, I know sports, we're very competitive sports-wise.
Sure. For a small school, I think we've got a lot of great things going on after the traditional school day ends. Our fall athletic season was tremendously successful. We have a young cross-country runner, Catherine Wright, that got a lot of individual accolades for the races she ran. Our boys and girls soccer teams, both Western Mass champions.
Yes, that
It's
is
very
awesome.
rare to
Yes.
have both
Both of
win the
them, right.
championship in the same year. The boys were defeated in the semifinals. They lost to Sutton High School, who ultimately were the state champions.
Winners,
The girls made it to the finals, played a great game with East Bridgewater, but did fall short in the end. I've got to say, in all my years working in education, I'm so impressed with both teams, but the girls team in particular. The athletic director of East Bridgewater wrote me a letter the very next day after the girls had lost the championship and just was so complimentary of how hard they worked, their poise, their grace in defeat, and their genuine happy. They were upset they lost, but they were happy
for the other team.
And that really,
That speaks volumes about our kids.
it
Yes,
absolutely does.
Yes.
Getting away from sports a little bit, we are looking to bring the after-school activities program that you
Right.
introduced in the lower grades
Right.
this year to the high school. Our students actually are taking a survey tomorrow during their advisory period about what types of activities they would like to see offered at the high school after hours. We do have a number of clubs and programs going on already. This Friday night, the Monson High Drama Club is putting on their winter production. The play is How to Survive the Zombie Apocalypse.
Oh, that's good.
Information
Yeah, information
anybody should have. I think that's
Right, right.
critical. I'm looking forward to going to the middle school and watching them on
Yes.
Friday night. Our
Great.
schools match wits team.
Right.
A student
won.
informed me yesterday, it is my first year, that they've actually been undefeated for a few years now in their
Yes,
appearances.
yes. They're
on
great.
The show. Going back into athletics, our girls basketball team's on a 3-game winning streak. Our boys are 7-0 and are poised to crack the top 10
Right.
in the rankings
That's
of all
awesome.
of Western Massachusetts. We got a lot of great things
Yeah.
going on.
And another sport came back right through a co-op with Palmer, which was a big.
Yep, our first year of the co-op football team with Palmer High School went incredibly well.
Right, I know a lot of kids left because they wanted to play football, and so we have that now for them.
Yep.
So that's awesome. So next year, I know you have lots of ideas. So can you just give us some of the highlights in terms of academics or electives or anything you'd like to talk about?
Sure, we want to continue to find ways to offer our kids the most opportunities as possible, to touch on a number of areas of interest. As I said earlier, we're always working with our online learning partners in trying to continue to grow that program and to make sure that it's user-friendly and informative for our students. We are bringing a number of new electives into the high school, and that was a very exciting process. The faculty came forward with their own ideas, their proposals. They were submitted to a faculty council that ultimately approved a number of them. And we have so many great new offerings. We're going to change the way ninth grade science looks at the high school. We're really focusing on that STEM education that is really, again, something that's in very high demand for employers in the 21st century. So our ninth graders will no longer be taking physics. They will have the opportunity to take honors physics later on in high school. So we're not getting rid of physics by any means. It's just not going to be the class that the ninth grade take. It is going to be a STEM class, and that's going to be both a typical college prep track, and we are going to have an honor STEM science class as well for our high achieving students that are part of that first cohort that you started
Right.
at the middle school.
That's gonna be
we want to make
awesome.
sure that they have the
Right.
opportunity to continue to access a challenging and rigorous science curriculum at the high school. In the humanities, we have a number of new course offerings. We're going to have a psychology of sport class. We're going to have a sport literature class, contemporary problems, contemporary novels. We're bringing music back to the high school.
That's huge as
after
well,
it's been gone
yes.
for several years. We have a number of offerings in art. We have ceramics, we have photography, digital design.
Wow.
We've got good things going on.
Yeah, that's great. Very busy. You must be very busy.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing everything
You're welcome.
that's happening over at Monson High. And I encourage all of you to call Mr. Metzger if you're considering Monson High for your child. He can be reached at 267-4589. He would be happy to answer any of your questions regarding courses, course selection, or college prep, or vocational or technical questions. And I want to thank all of my guests today for joining me on Clarke's Corner, and I encourage everyone to stay tuned for the next installment of Clarke's Corner. Thank you.